Hello, I'm Kelly. Welcome to my channel Animal Instinct. It's Friday the 27th of November 2020 and I'm back for another stitching update. I know I only filmed an update a week ago, but I've done a lot of stitching in the meantime, so I thought why not? I'm still on holidays, and if you watched my last update, my cats were in boarding and I wasn't able to collect them because of the lockdown here in Adelaide, but that's all done and dusted. They're home. They're currently both eating, so you might actually be able to hear that. It's all good. I'm sure they'll make an appearance at some stage. Got the aircon on today. It's really hot out there. I'm not going to turn it off to film, so I hope it doesn't cause any annoying sounds or interfere with the sound quality. Apologies if it does. It's 40 degrees here in Adelaide today. That's Celsius, so 104 Fahrenheit, so it's pretty warm. I feel like we've kind of jumped straight into summer, even though we're not quite there yet. I've got all the regulars today. I've got new starts. I've got to finish plenty of whips. But what I'm going to start with is the most exciting of all, I think, and it is an FFO. I've just picked this up from the Framers this morning. Here is my Bee by Lorna Lane, charted by Gecko Rouge. I had it framed by Frames and Finishes in Unley in Adelaide, South Australia. I really recommend them. They're lovely to deal with. They know what they're doing. They're specialists in embroidery and tapestry type framing, interesting framing. So it's all been laced. It's great. When I took it in, we tried a number of different size and color mats, and in the end we decided it didn't really need it. She kind of felt sort of, I guess, closed in with the mats, so we just went for the simple gold frame. So very happy with it. This is their details. Hopefully you can read that. Frames and Finishes. They're on social media and they have a website. It's not on there, but I think it's framesandfinishes.com.au. So just a reminder about this kit. I purchased it as soon as it was released. I just saw it and immediately had to have it. I was just drawn to those beautiful bright colors. And so I think I received it sort of mid 2018 and I worked on it here and there, and then I was about 2/3 of the way through at the start of this year, and then mid-February, I think it was, no, late February, I decided I wanted to finish it. And so I worked on it solidly for 6 weeks and got it done. So the first 2/3 were done as a paper chart with highlighter. I didn't have Pattern Keeper then. I tried all the different techniques. So I started in the middle on the body of the bee, and then I tried some extreme cross country. Oh, you're getting all the full cat experience today. So yeah, I chose a couple of the yellows and did all the yellow in the whole piece. And then I found I got a bit bored stitching on the same color. So I tried parking several times. My brain just doesn't seem to be able to fit into the mold of parking. My preferred way of stitching is just to pick a color, probably either just finish that thread or complete all the stitches in that section in that color, and that's what I tend to always come back to. I think there's 89 colors in there. The wings have about 30 colors in there alone. Lots of detail. So it's 25 count full crosses 1/1, and yeah, really happy with it. So what have I been working on the last week? When I filmed my last update a week ago, I was preparing to join in the Mittagong Stitches Retreat, which was held virtually this year. So that ran from Friday evening, all day Saturday, and through to Sunday afternoon. It was really well set up. Kerry, the creative curator, and Michelle Mitch both did a wonderful job. They had some gifted charts, which I assume if the retreat was held in person, they would have been provided in a goodies bag, but we were able to go to a site to download them just to participants of the retreat. There was also a trunk show where various designers and other businesses offered discounts for the weekend. And then we had the challenges. There were 12 challenges and 10 of them were to put 200 stitches into a project, either a themed project or stitch in a particular colour for 200 stitches. And the way you entered was they provided a code word, and you took a photo of your piece with the code word on it at the start, and then you just submitted another photo to show your 200 or whatever it was at the end, and all eligible entries went into a draw at the end to win gift vouchers. So I challenged myself and I actually managed to enter every single challenge. I'm not quite sure how many people managed that. I know Deb Wilson did. I'm not sure if anyone else did. If you did, well done. It was an effort. So I'm just going to go through and show you what I worked on. I'm not in any of the groups where you do homework and there's various challenges. The only challenges I generally do are in full coverage fanatics, where it's a bigger, broader challenge, such as the National Parks Challenge, where you're stitching like chunks of 4,000 stitches. I don't think I could manage like jumping between all the projects all the time, but for the weekend I really enjoyed it. I guess the other thing I didn't say was we had virtual rooms as well, so we were able to catch up with friends old and new throughout the weekend, and it was great to have some stitchers joining us from other countries as well. So let's go through what I worked on. The first one was stitch on 200 stitches in black. And Friday afternoon I was quite tired and just wanted something easy, so I pulled out my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, and I've just about finished the first block, so I just decided to stitch the frame of the second block. I'd actually like to finish the second block next year, maybe, we'll see. I'm stitching it on 32 count Jobelin in Angel of the Morning by Colour Cascade Fabrics. I think it's 32 count. It feels huge. So this is what I've done. So all I did was stitch that empty black frame. It was well over 200 stitches. It was close to 350, I think. But I got that done. Oh, Jemima, do you have to? The next one was stitch on 200 stitches in yellow, and I pulled out Atomic Garden by Carissa Rose. It's a Gecko Rouge kit. I knew there was plenty of yellow in there. This one's being stitched on 25 count Magic Guide, 1/1 full crosses. So literally just did all of this yellow. It's a little bit up here too. This one actually got me 2 entries, as well as the yellow challenge. It got me into the frogging challenge. So there was also one where you just shared an area that you had to frog because you were too busy talking and miscounted, which I always do when I catch up with people virtually. So I think it was sort of down here, there was a section where I had to pull out a heap of stitches and redo them. So that got me into the frogging challenge as well as the yellow challenge. That I got those done on the Friday night, and then we went into Saturday. And the next one was stitch 200 stitches in purple, which I didn't think would be too hard, but in actual fact, I struggled to find a piece with big chunks of purple. But I found this one. It's Only Forever by Medusa Dollmaker. It's another Gecko Rouge kit based on The Labyrinth. Love that movie, David Bowie. And it's basically all in blues and purples and the whites, I guess. This was not a good one to pick when I was stitching, like trying to get things done in a relatively fast amount of time, because once I decided I was going to try all the challenges, it was on. I'm stitching this on 18 count Ada, it's very creased, in Galaxy by Jodie Redesigns. And the reason I'm doing a full coverage piece on hand-dyed fabric is because it's not all full, so I think the background behind the letters, let's see, like maybe, yeah, in here, that's all left. So and because it's an uneven edge as well, you'll see the fabric around it and sort of behind it, so I think that's going to look great. But look at all the counting I had to do. So hoping that that's correct. I kind of triple counted everything. We'll see next time I pull it out. And then I had a new start. So this is one that I meant to show in my last video as something I wanted to start, but I forgot to get it out. And I'm doing, excuse me, Kathy Barrick's Two Moths. And I'm gonna do them like one on top of the other. Probably without the initials. And I'm thinking I could mount it in one of those shadow boxes so it looks a bit like an antique mounted, display from a museum. I'm stitching it on XG Designs 32 count linen. It's Desert Sand. And I think it's looking great. Love that fabric, it's a beautiful color. So I got my 250 or so stitches. This was stitched on a project with an insect. Next was Christmas stitching. I don't really do seasonal stitching, but when I was on my very short-lived holiday last week, was that last week? Yeah. I did start a Christmas piece. I started the Christmas 2020 Snowman by Beverly Street shop on Etsy. I'm stitching it on 16 count Ada. It's Icon by Picture This Plus. And it looks a bit freaky at the moment, but there he is. He hasn't got his mask on yet. So that was my Christmas stitching. And then next one was stitch on something Halloween. And I know I had already stitched on. There's a brawl going on just over there. A silent one at least. I already stitched on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, but I decided to do a different project. So far I've done a different project for each of the challenges. And I continued on with the cutest bat and his little spider mate in the world. It's on 18 count Ada Wicked Witch by Jodie Redesigns. And the code word for this one was Brian. So yeah, my bat's now called Brian. Brian the bat. I would like to actually get this one finished this year. I don't think it'll take much longer. Still going. We're almost there. The next one was stitch on a piece with an animal in it. So I pulled out my Joyful Diaries by the Joyful World by the Snowflower Diaries. I'd started the November one. I'm trying to get one done a month. So I thought that was a good opportunity to stitch on it. And actually the following day I went on and actually finished this one. So it's November. It's on 18 count Ada. This one's Heartland by Picture This Plus. And you can see that there is white, but it's a little bit hard to see. I've done 3 months on this piece. And so I've got one block left. I've actually gone through and, because the rest of the pieces I'm going to stitch on 18 count Ada in Vintage Country Mocha. Pretty sure that's how we pronounce it here in Australia. Vintage Country Mocha, which is a bit darker than the Heartland. Yeah. So they're not going to be displayed together. They'll always be displayed one at a time. So that's fine. So what I did was go through and find the month with the least amount of white in it, and that's what I'll do for that last month. But I did get a sneaky little start on the December one, just because I just wanted to see what it looked like on this other fabric. So barely anything. Pretty much know this border off by heart now. Like there's 33 stitches, then there's 2 lots of 3, 33, then there's 5, and then there's the the corner. So yeah, I'm getting to know the border very well. That is that one. So that was the animal one. And then, just bear with me. Then that took me through to Saturday evening, and then I had a fairly late night Saturday. I stayed up until about 2:30, I think, and I pulled out Anzac by Long Dog Samplers. So this one's being done. Oh, Reggie, don't knock the camera. He's playing fetch. I think he just moved us a little bit. 28 count coffee tea dyed Lugana, maybe. It's creased as well. In It's Silks For You PR 124. So I'm working on, I've made it all the way across to the other side. Hang on. Let me just zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna have a little pest now. So love those colors. There's sort of purples and teals and navy in there. So the rough thinking is that the fabric's kind of like the soil or the sand in the desert, and the silk is like the night sky. That was sort of my thinking. So I did 200 stitches in a project I love. Tick, that's one entry. And then I kept going. I just really enjoyed stitching on it. I kept going and did 400 stitches, another 400, on a piece with variegated floss or hand-dyed fabric. So that fit that one. And then I had 2 challenges to go. One of them was a stretch. I couldn't make it fit subversive cross stitching. There's nothing on there really that's subversive, unless I made some major edit. But I made it fit a project with a house in it. Sorry, he wants to come and say hello. There's no houses. There's no houses in it. However, there are several ships. So thankfully Kerry was online, and I asked her if a ship counted, because it is a house for seafaring folk, and she agreed that that would be acceptable. And then some other people pointed out that there was a lighthouse in there, and there's also a bird cage, which could be considered a bird house. So that was getting late into that Saturday night. I got my 200 stitches for that challenge. So I stitched over 800 stitches on that piece Saturday night, which is pretty good. Off you go, buddy. Now, okay. The very last challenge was stitch 200 stitches on a subversive piece, and I didn't have any whips. I'd gone to bed Saturday night, exhausted, just decided to sleep in, not worry too much on when I needed to get up Sunday, because I set this challenge, I was going to finish it. You got Reggie playing, sorry, it's just, that's life here. Got up, you know, took it easy in the morning, kind of got ready at 10:30 my time. I knew the cutoff was at midday. So I didn't have a whip, so I needed a new start. There were 2 possibilities out of the gifted charts that we received, and I liked them both, but I decided to look at which one it would be easier to get 200 stitches into, which isn't really my style normally, but I really wanted to make it. And so I picked the gifted chart from the Witchy Stitcher, Boo Sheet, and I don't actually have it here. So I'll put a photo in because I finished it. It's stitched on 28 count opal casual linen on Ours Dark Magic by Chromatic Alchemy. What do I have to say about it? 2/2 DMC, and I started with the white, so it was a new start, and I raced to get my 200 stitches in, and they look really neat. So I'm really happy that they don't look messy and I don't need to redo them, because that would just be silly. But I got my 200 stitches in as I was chatting to everyone, and they knew that I was on a mission, and I made it with 5 minutes to spare. And I had to post the starting picture. I'd taken the photo, I just hadn't uploaded it to the group, plus the final picture. And I think I got in with about 5 minutes to spare, so stoked with that. But I think it's so cute. I don't know if she's going to be releasing it, or if it might already be available. I don't really know, but I love it. With the little coronavirus on top. And such a cute, he looks just so grumpy. It's just perfect. So that took me through to midday. The other thing I didn't mention was I forgot about the time zone. So the cutoff was 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. I'm in Central, so I'm half an hour behind. So I thought I had an hour and a half, but I only had an hour. And when you're trying to rush, it makes it harder, I think, to go faster. Anyway, so once I'd done that, I went and got the cats. They were very happy to come home. Reggie cried the whole way home. He was pretty grumpy with me, but he settled back in straight away. And I got home just in time for Kerry and Michelle to do the drawing. So they went through each of the events and worked out all the eligible entries, and then did random number generators for each of the challenges. And I ended up winning 2, so really, really happy with that. I won the frogging challenge, so yes to frogging. And I also won the house challenge, so my Anzac house. So yeah, that was really exciting. I have won $25 gift vouchers to Teaser Handmaids, Taryn, who does amazing like project bags and graham guards and things like that. And also $25 gift voucher to Crafty Like a Fox. And I've already purchased her latest pattern, which are Gang Gang cockatoos. So I'm looking forward to going on to her Etsy shop and seeing what else she's got there. She does some wonderful little, a lot of them are Australian themed, not all though. Beautiful, beautiful patterns. She offered up a gifted chart as well, which is something about the honey pot, and it's a couple of bears. It's really cool. So really looking forward to, I guess, spending my winnings. Thank you very much to everyone who made that possible. It was a great weekend, and such a shame we couldn't have it in person, but that's okay. I had a great time catching up online. So that was that was a lot of work, but it was fun. After the weekend, so that took me through to Sunday, I still had a week off of work because my holiday was cancelled, but I decided to just stay home, even though work did ask if I would come back. So I've had a couple of new starts. So the first one is one that I did show last time as one that I wanted to start, and it's the Dimensions Gold Collection Petites Napping Kitten. It's stitched on 18 count Aida. And I made a pretty decent start, I reckon. Oops, I'm gonna lose everything. You can see the flowers coming along and branches. You can see I'm attempting to park. I was trying to do 10 by 10 diagonal blocks just to see, but every time I'm like, well, I'm in this 10 by 10 block, but there's 5 stitches just next to it. Why would I be stopping stitching? Why wouldn't I just finish those off? So I try, but yeah, seem to always fail at that. That's coming along nicely. And my other new start, I decided to film like getting ready to start this one. So I put that up a couple of days ago just in case it helped anyone. But my restart of the John Clayton collection cricket scene. This one's on 32 count antique white linen, mainly 2/2, although there's a few other, there's some 1/2, and there's some sort of squished stitches. There's all sorts. Pays to read the instructions, as it turns out. And so I've made a pretty good start on that too. I've finished the hedge. That little bit is between the fielder's legs, so I need to fill in his legs, and I've started on this building. So pretty happy with that start. And then my final whip that I worked on was Firefly cats. I have not worked on this for ages. I think I was a little bit burnt out after finishing my bee. But this week that I've been off, I came across Dizzy Stitcher on Flosstube, and he is an English fellow living in Queensland, and he's right into his full coverage. So he's kind of inspired me to pull mine out again. I've really enjoyed watching some of his videos, and he does like all the big cats. So here's a smaller cat that's quite large. So I haven't put the, oh, where's the cover sheet? Yeah. Firefly by Jenny Parks, charted by Gecko Rouge. So it's Firefly, the TV show, but they've been reimagined as cats, because why not? And I'm working on the center cat there in the middle, the captain. This is still all set up because I'm going to be working on this afterwards. I started this one about March last year when I had my foot surgery, and I started in the middle of the piece, this is the next cat's sleeve. And then I moved into his face, and I mean, look at it. It's incredible. Then what else have I done? I decided there's a whole lot of background in this one, and it's all dark, sort of spacey themed background. And I've talked about this before, but I was a bit concerned that I would never finish it. So all the detail, all the cats and all the area like directly around the cats is 1/1 full crosses. It's 25 count. But the background that leads into space is all going to be 2/1 tent stitch, which I have done here. And the coverage for the bit that I've actually filled in is excellent and a lot quicker. But I pulled out this one last night, and I'm just focusing on filling in his ears and the top of his head. And then I have to decide which direction I want to move in. Do I go up? I think I'll go down, and he's wearing a big coat. So I feel like maybe I should get his coat done. What else was I going to say about this one? I really want to get way more progress on it than I have this year. I've done about 12,000 stitches this year. I definitely need to do more than that if I've got any chance of finishing it. So it's going to be my focus piece in full coverage Fanatics, 21,000 stitches in 2021. And then they've also got this bookshelf challenge, and I'll probably use it for some of those, but not all of them. I want to get some more work done on my other full coverage ones next year too. So love him. He looks amazing. Those eyes. I guess I can go on to haul. I've got a little bit of haul on the whole full coverage front. I have signed up to a mystery stitch along next year by the Cross Stitch Studio. It is a full coverage mystery stitch along, and the theme is wildlife. It's a large enough piece, but it's not enormous, and I think it's 1 page is released monthly for 16 months. So I'm going to give it a go. I did see on Dizzy Stitch's latest video that he's actually signed up too, so I don't know if anyone else is joining in. I think it will be fun. There's no way I'll keep up with it, but I'm interested to give it a go. Sounds like something a bit different. So I've signed up for that, and I got some 28 count, easy count, the stuff I've been working on lately with the Twin Peaks and my mini Contessa. And I'll either do that 2/1 tent stitch or 1/1 full cross, undecided at this time. A couple of other little bits of haul. I received my Silks for You. Yeah, so I get 4 colours from their collection every month. Always pretty. And I also received some fabric that is a maybe for Stitching Mummy's temperature typography next year. I didn't put any work into my temperature tree this week, but I probably will catch up this afternoon. I'm about 10 days overdue, late. 10 days behind, that's the word I'm looking for. I knew that didn't sound right. But yeah, I mentioned pretty much every time I'm really looking forward to her temperature typography next year, and she's picked a fantastic colorway for for next year. I don't quite have all of them just yet, but look how vivid these are. Look at the colors. So each color will represent a range of temperatures, and you'll stitch like the maximum temperature for that day. Like today is probably going to be a, oops, I reckon it might be a 666 day. So this is one possible fabric choice, and it's 25 count pewter Lagana. It's just a Zweigart. It's just like a silver or grey, and they look brilliant on it. Oh God. So if I go with this one, I'll do it 1/1 full crosses. I do have another piece of fabric coming. I think it's either a much whiter color or maybe like a sand sort of color. That's coming, it'll be 32 count. So if I decide to go with that, it would be 2/2, so much bigger than 1/1 on this one. But I'm leaning towards this one. I think the color, I think it would look great on this silver. So that's exciting. Was there anything else? I don't think so. So I will leave it there. I hope you like my bee. I'm very, very happy to have it home, all finished. Oh, before I do go, you can sort of see an open bottle. It's been bugging me the whole time I've been filming. This is my Ort jar. It's an empty gin jar. I did think it was full, but I pressed it down last night, and you know, there's still plenty of room in there. But this has just been collected this year, and it's kind of fun to see. I can see the different projects in there. I do have another fancy gin bottle possibly to use next year. Right, that is definitely it. So I'll leave it there. Who knows when I'll be back again? I reckon maybe another 2 weeks. So I hope you're all well. Thanks for stopping by. And if you've got any questions about anything I've been working on, please feel free to ask. And happy stitching. See ya.